My husband beat me every day. One day I fainted. He took me to the hospital and pretended to be the perfect husband. What the doctor said next destroyed his lie and saved my life. My name is Maya Johnson. I'm 29 years old, and I used to be a graphic designer in Chicago. For years ago, I thought I had everything. A successful career, a handsome husband, a beautiful apartment. But behind closed doors, I was living in hell. And the night I almost died was the night everything finally changed. I need to tell you this story because maybe someone watching right now is living what I lived. Maybe someone is making the same excuses I made. Maybe someone thinks they can't escape. I'm here to tell you that you can. But first you need to understand how I got there. How a smart, independent woman ended up being beaten unconscious by the man who promised to love her. I met Damien 5 years ago at an art gallery opening. He was a corporate lawyer. Successful. Confident. Handsome in that polished professional way. He approached me while I was looking at a painting and said something clever about the artist's use of color. We talked for 2 hours. He asked for my number. Called me the next day. Took me to an expensive restaurant for our first date. Everyone told me I'd found the perfect man. My friends were jealous. My mother loved him. He was charming, attentive, romantic. He sent flowers to my office, left sweet notes on my car, remembered every detail I told him about myself. When he proposed after a year of dating, I said yes, without hesitation. The wedding was beautiful. I wore my dream dress. He cried when he saw me walking down the aisle, and I believed every word of our vows. The first year of marriage was good, or I thought it was good. Looking back, now I can see the signs. The small controlling behaviors I dismissed as caring. He wanted to know where I was all the time. Said it was because he worried about me. He didn't like when I went out with friends without him. Said he missed me too much. He started commenting on my clothes. Said certain outfits were too revealing. That I was attracting unwanted attention. I changed the way I dressed to make him happy. The first time he hit me was 13 months after our wedding. I'd gone to a work dinner without telling him. My boss had invited the whole design team, and I didn't think I needed permission. When I got home at 10 that night, Damien was waiting. His face was dark. Where were you? At a work dinner. I told you this morning. No, you didn't. You deliberately hid it from me. I wasn't hiding anything, it was just a team dinner. With men. His voice went cold. You were out with other men, and didn't tell me. I tried to explain, but he wasn't listening. He grabbed my arm. Squeezed so hard I felt bones grinding. Don't ever disrespect me like that again. Then he slapped me across the face. The sound echoed through our apartment. I stood there in shock. Hand pressed to my burning cheek. Unable to process what had just happened. My husband had hit me. He started crying immediately. Dropped to his knees. Grabbed my hands. Baby, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. Work has been so stressful. I just lost control. I would never hurt you. Please forgive me. It will never happen again. I promise. And I believed him. I actually believed him. I told myself everyone makes mistakes. That he was under pressure. That it was a one-time thing. The next day, he came home with roses and a diamond necklace. Took me to my favorite restaurant. Told me I was the most important person in his life. I smiled. Thanked him. Covered the bruise on my cheek with makeup. Pretended everything was fine. But it wasn't fine. 3 weeks later it happened again. I'd forgotten to pick up his dry cleaning. Such a small, stupid thing. But when he realized his suits weren't ready, he exploded. Grabbed me by the hair. Slammed my head against the wall. You have one job as my wife. Take care of me. Do what I ask. You can't even do that. He shoved me to the floor and walked away like nothing had happened. The pattern started. He'd hurt me, then apologize. Buy me gifts. Be sweet for a few days or maybe a week. Then something would set him off and the violence would return. Each time worse than before. Each time I told myself it would be the last time. Each time I was wrong. The isolation came next. He started picking fights before I was supposed to see friends. Made me cancel plans. Eventually, I stopped making plans at all. It was easier than dealing with his rage. My friend stopped calling. My family thought I was just busy with married life. I was alone. Completely alone with him. He made me quit my job. Said his salary was enough. That my place was at home. That having a career made me think I was better than him. Without my job, I had no income. No independence. No reason to leave the house. He controlled all our money. Gave me a small allowance for groceries. Made me show receipts for everything. I was completely dependent on him. The beatings became daily. Every single day, he found a reason to hurt me. Dinner wasn't ready on time. The house wasn't clean enough. I'd looked at him wrong. I'd said something that annoyed him. Nothing was ever right. He'd punch me in the stomach where bruises wouldn't show. Pull my hair until I thought he'd rip it from my scalp. Twist my arms behind my back until something popped. I tried to leave once. Packed a bag while he was at work. Got as far as the train station. But I had no money. Nowhere to go. No one to call because he'd isolated me from everyone. And I was terrified. He'd threatened me so many times. If you ever try to leave, I'll find you. I'll kill you. No one will believe you over me. I'm a respected lawyer. You're just a hysterical wife who can't handle marriage. So I went back home. Unpacked my bag. And when he came home that night, he knew. Somehow he knew I'd tried to leave. The beating he gave me that night was the worst yet. He broke 2 of my ribs. Gave me a concussion. Told me if I ever tried again, he'd make sure I never walked again. I started going to different hospitals for injuries. Never the same one twice. Broken arm from when he shoved me down the stairs. Told the ER doctor I'd slipped. Dislocated shoulder from when he yanked my arm behind my back. Told them I'd fallen playing tennis. Black eyes. Split lips. Burns from cigarettes he'd put out on my arms. I had an excuse for everything. The doctors looked at me with concern, but I smiled and lied, and they let me go home with my abuser. This went on for 4 years. 4 years of daily terror. 4 years of pain. 4 years of wishing I was dead, because death seemed easier than living like this. Then came last Tuesday. The day that changed everything. I was doing administrative work for Damien because he made me handle his emails and scheduling for free. I accidentally deleted an email chain he needed for a case. It was a mistake. A simple mistake. But when he came home and realized what I'd done, he lost his mind. You stupid bitch. Do you have any idea what you've done? That was evidence for a multi-million-dollar case. I could lose my job because of you. I'm sorry, I'll try to recover it from the trash. It's too late for that. He grabbed me by the throat. Slammed me against the kitchen wall. You ruin everything. Everything you touch turns to shit. He started hitting me. Closed fist to my face. To my head. I fell to the floor, and he started kicking me. My ribs. My back. My stomach. I curled into a ball trying to protect my vital organs, but he kept kicking. I tasted blood. Felt something crack in my chest. Begged him to stop, but he couldn't hear me. He was beyond rage. Beyond reason. Beyond human. Then he grabbed me by the throat again. Lifted me up against the wall. His hands wrapped around my neck and squeezed. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't get any air. I clawed at his hands, but he was too strong. My vision started going dark around the edges. My lungs burned. I looked into his eyes and saw nothing. No love. No humanity. Just pure hatred. I'm going to kill you, he said. His voice was calm. Matter of fact. Like he was discussing the weather. You've ruined my life for the last time. My body went limp. I stopped fighting. Stopped clawing at his hands. The darkness spread across my vision until there was nothing left. And then I was gone. Just gone. Into the blackness. Into nothing. I don't know how long I was unconscious. Could have been seconds or minutes or hours. But when I started coming back, I wasn't in the kitchen anymore. I was moving. Jostling. Every bump sent pain screaming through my body. I tried to open my eyes, but one was swollen, completely shut. Through my other eye, I could barely see that I was in a car. His car. Lying in the back seat. Shit, shit, shit. His voice was panicked. Frantic. Wake up, Maya. Come on. Don't you dare die.
Not now.
Not like this. I tried to speak, but nothing came out. My throat was destroyed. Everything hurt. Every breath felt like knives in my chest. Okay, I've got this. He was talking to himself. Practicing. She had a seizure. I came home from work and found her on the floor seizing. She must have hit her head during the seizure. That's it. That's the story. I'm a concerned husband. Devoted. Worried. She had a seizure. He kept repeating it, fine-tuning his lie, getting the story perfect. And I realized with horror what was happening. He was taking me to the hospital, but not to save me, to save himself, to cover his tracks, to make sure if I died it wouldn't come back to him. I lay there listening to him construct his narrative. And somewhere deep inside me, that tiny spark that had somehow survived 4 years of abuse flickered to life. This was it. My only chance. I'd be around other people. Doctors. Nurses. People who might see through his lies. People who might save me. But I was terrified. He'd be right there, controlling what I said, who I talked to. And if I told the truth, what would he do? He'd already tried to kill me once tonight. What would stop him from finishing the job? The car pulled up to the emergency room entrance. I heard him get out. Heard him open the back door. Then he was carrying me, playing the hero, shouting for help. Please, someone help. My wife. She had a seizure. Please help her. And as we went through those automatic doors into the bright lights of the ER, I made a decision. If I got the chance, if I got even one moment alone with a doctor, I was going to tell the truth, even if it killed me. The ER was chaos. Bright fluorescent lights that made my head pound. Voices shouting medical terms I didn't understand. Hands touching me, lifting me, transferring me from Damien's arms onto a gurney. Every movement sent fresh waves of agony through my broken body. Please help her. Damien's voice was desperate. Convincing. I came home from work and found her on the floor. She was seizing. Convulsing. There was blood everywhere. I think she hit her head when she fell. Please, you have to help my wife. Such a perfect performance. If I didn't know the truth, if I hadn't just felt his hands crushing my windpipe, I would have believed in myself. He sounded genuinely terrified, genuinely loving. The concerned husband facing every man's nightmare. A young doctor appeared. Male. Maybe 30. He started firing questions while nurses cut away my clothes. When did the seizure start? How long did it last? Has she had seizures before? Does she have any medical conditions we should know about? Damien answered everything smoothly. I don't know when it started. I wasn't home. When I found her, she wasn't seizing anymore, but she was unconscious. No, she's never had seizures before. She's perfectly healthy. This came out of nowhere. The doctor nodded. Made notes on a tablet. Ordered tests. CT scan. X-rays. Blood work. The nurses moved efficiently around me. One started in 4. Another wrapped a blood pressure cuff around my arm. A third was examining my head, looking for the source of the bleeding. I tried to speak. Tried to tell them the truth. But when I opened my mouth, only a horrible rasping sound came out. My throat was too damaged. The strangulation had destroyed my voice. It's okay, ma'am, the young doctor said. Don't try to talk. You've been through a trauma. Just rest. We're going to take good care of you. Damien moved closer. Took my hand. His touch made my skin crawl, but I couldn't pull away. Couldn't show the disgust and fear I felt. He squeezed my fingers gently. It's going to be okay, baby. You're safe now. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. His eyes locked on mine. And even though his face showed nothing but love and concern, I could see the warning. The threat. Don't you dare say anything. Don't you dare tell them what really happened. Or you know what I'll do. The nurses finished cutting away my shirt. I heard one of them gasp. The young doctor's expression changed. He was staring at my torso, at what the removal of my clothes had revealed. My entire body was a canvas of violence. Fresh purple bruises from tonight covered my ribs and stomach. Yellow bruises from last week's beating dotted my arms. Green bruises from 2 weeks ago marked my shoulders. And beneath all of that, old scars. Cigarette burns. Marks from belt buckles. the roadmap of 4 years of abuse. The doctor looked at the bruises,
then at Damien.
then back at me. Ma'am, these bruises. They're in different stages of healing. Can you tell me how you got them? Before I could attempt to answer, Damien jumped in. My wife is very clumsy. She has a balance disorder. The neurologist has been trying to figure out what's causing it. She falls constantly. Just last week she fell in the shower. And the week before she tripped going down the basement stairs. It's been so scary watching her hurt herself and not being able to prevent it. The lies came so easily.
So smoothly.
He'd probably been practicing them for years, preparing for this exact moment. The young doctor didn't look convinced, but he nodded. Continued his examination. That's when he saw my neck. The perfect handprint bruise that circled my throat. 4 fingers on one side, thumb on the other.
Clear as day.
Impossible to explain away as a fall or clumsiness. This bruising on your neck, the doctor said slowly, his eyes narrowing. How did this happen? Damien didn't miss a beat. During the seizure, she must have grabbed her own throat. Seizure patients sometimes hurt themselves during episodes. Bite their tongues. Thrash around. She probably did it to herself. The doctor said nothing. Just made a note on his tablet. But I could see something shifting in his expression. Suspicion.
Doubt.
A nurse came in. Older woman. Maybe in her 50s with gray hair pulled back in a bun and kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She started checking my vitals. Blood pressure.
Pulse.
Oxygen levels. Then she paused. Stared at my face. At my injuries. I've seen you before, she said quietly. Her voice was careful. Measured. You were at Mercy Hospital about 6 months ago. Broken arm. And before that at St. Mary's. Fractured ribs. My heart stopped. Someone had noticed. Someone had connected the dots. After all this time bouncing between different emergency rooms trying to hide the pattern, someone had finally seen it. Damien's hand tightened on mine.
Painful now.
Warning me. But his voice stayed calm and loving when he spoke. Yes, that's right. Those were accidents from her balance disorder. We've been to several hospitals trying to get answers. It's been such an ordeal. The nurse looked at him, then at me, then back at the bruises covering my body. She opened her mouth to say something, but the young doctor interrupted. We need to get her to CT. Check for internal bleeding and head trauma. He looked at Damien. Sir, you'll need to wait outside during the scan. Hospital policy. Of course. Damien said. He leaned down, kissed my forehead gently, so tenderly. I'll be right outside, baby. You're going to be fine. Just tell the doctors what happened. You had a seizure. You don't remember anything else.
Okay.
Another warning disguised as comfort. Another threat wrapped in loving words. They wheeled me out of the exam room.
Down a hallway.
Damien walked beside the gurney until we reached a set of double doors marked radiology. A nurse stopped him. This is as far as you can go, sir. The waiting room is back that way. I need to be with my wife. He protested. She's scared.
She needs me.
Hospital policy, sir. No one allowed in the scanning area except patients and staff. Damien looked at me. His eyes bore into mine. Remember what I said, baby. You had a seizure. That's all. I love you. Then he was gone. And for the first time in 4 years, I was away from him. Separated by walls and doors and hospital policy. Protected by strangers who didn't know they were protecting me. The nurse who'd recognized me from the other hospitals was the one who wheeled me into the CT room. She positioned me carefully on the scanning table. Placed pillows under my head. Her hands were gentle. Professional. Then she leaned down close to my ear. Whispered so quietly I almost didn't hear her. Honey, I know what's happening to you. I've been a nurse for 30 years. I've seen this pattern too many times. When we're done here, I'm calling someone who can help.
Just hold on.
Tears started streaming down my face, running into my hair, soaking the pillow beneath my head. Someone knew. Someone saw through Damien's lies. Someone was going to help. The scan took 20 minutes. When it was done, they wheeled me to a different room. Not back to the ER bay, where Damien was waiting. Somewhere else. Somewhere private. The older nurse came in. She wasn't alone. With her was a woman in a white coat. Older, maybe mid-40s. Asian features, kind eyes, and an expression of deep concern. Maya, the woman in the white coat said. My name is Dr. Rachel Kim. I'm the attending physician tonight. Nurse Patricia told me she's seen you here before. At different hospitals.
With injuries you said were accidents.
I tried to speak, but my damaged throat wouldn't cooperate. Only painful rasps came out. Don't try to talk, Dr. Kim said gently. Just listen. Your husband is waiting outside. He's told us you had a seizure, that you fell and hit your head. But the injuries I'm seeing tell a different story. The bruises in various stages of healing, the pattern of trauma, the handprint around your neck. Maya, these aren't from a seizure or a fall. Someone did this to you. She paused, pulled up a chair, sat down next to my bed, so we were eye level. I'm going to tell you something I don't usually share with patients. 15 years ago, I was lying in a hospital bed just like this one. My husband had beaten me so badly, I had a fractured skull. And when the doctors asked what happened, I lied. I said I'd fallen downstairs. I protected my abuser because I was terrified, because I thought I had no choice, because he was standing right there controlling everything I said. Dr. Kim's eyes filled with tears. But a nurse didn't believe me. She pushed. She asked my husband to leave the room. And when we were alone, she asked me one simple question.
Did he do this to you?
And I finally told the truth. That nurse saved my life that night. She activated a domestic violence protocol,
Called the police.
got me help. And that's why I became a doctor. To be for other women what that nurse was for me. She reached out, took my hand gently. So I'm going to ask you that same question now, Maya. And your husband can't hear you. No one is here except me and Nurse Patricia. We're on your side. We want to help you. So please, tell me the truth. Did your husband do this to you? I looked at her. At this doctor, who'd survived what I was surviving. Who understood. Who knew. And I nodded. Yes. One small movement of my head, but it was enough. Dr. Kim squeezed my hand.
Okay.
Okay, Maya. You're safe now. We're going to help you. We're going to make sure he can't hurt you anymore. She stood up. Looked at Nurse Patricia. Activate code purple. Full domestic violence protocol. Call hospital security. Call the police. No one tells the husband where she is. He doesn't come near this room. Nurse Patricia nodded, already moving toward the door. Dr. Kim turned back to me. Maya, I need to document your injuries as evidence. Photograph everything. It might be uncomfortable, but it's important. Is that okay? I nodded again. She pulled out a camera, started photographing every bruise, every burn, every mark, the handprint on my neck, the swelling around my eye, the split in my lip, all of it. Evidence of 4 years of terror. While she worked, she talked, told me what would happen next. Police would come, take my statement, arrest Damien if I wanted to press charges. Hospital security would keep him away from me. I wouldn't have to see him, wouldn't have to face him alone. What about after? I managed to rasp out. The words were barely audible, but she understood. After you're healed, we'll help you find resources. Shelter if you need it. Legal aid. Counseling. You won't be alone, Maya. There are people who help women escape situations like yours. There was a commotion outside the room. Raised voices. Damien's voice rising above the others. Where is my wife? I demand to see my wife. You can't keep me from her. Dr. Kim's jaw tightened. She walked to the door. Locked it. He's not getting near you. Damien was screaming now, his voice echoing through the hallway outside my room. His carefully constructed mask of the concerned, loving husband was slipping. I am her husband. I have a legal right to see her.
You cannot keep me from my wife. This is kidnapping.
I'll have your jobs. I'll sue this hospital. Dr. Kim stood by the locked door, arms crossed, face calm. She'd heard this before, probably many times. Abusers always revealed themselves eventually when they lost control. Hospital security is on the way, she said to me. And the police. He can't get to you, Maya. That door is locked, and I'm not opening it. But I could hear him getting more aggressive. Hear the sound of him trying the door handle, pounding on the door with his fists. Maya. Maya, I know you can hear me. Baby, tell them you want to see me. Tell them to let me in. My whole body tensed. 4 years of conditioning made me want to obey. Want to call out to him. Want to do whatever he said to avoid his rage. But Dr. Kim saw my face. Saw the fear. You don't have to respond to him, she said firmly. You don't owe him anything. Not explanation. Not access. Nothing. Nurse Patricia came back into the room through a connecting door I hadn't noticed. Security is here. Police are 5 minutes out. And I pulled records from Mercy Hospital and St. Mary's. She held up a tablet. 7 emergency room visits in 4 years. Different hospitals each time. Broken bones. Lacerations. Burns. Bruises. All explained as accidents or clumsiness. Dr. Kim looked at the records. Looked at me. 7 times. You've been to the ER 7 times in 4 years. I nodded. Tears streaming down my face. He made me go to different hospitals. Said if I went to the same one too many times, they'd start asking questions.
He was smart about it.
Calculated. He knew exactly how to hurt me where it wouldn't show. How to space out the hospital visits. How to control the narrative. There was a commotion in the hallway. New voices.
Deeper.
Authoritative. Sir, step back. You need to calm down. We're not going to tell you again. Let me see my wife. Damien's voice was desperate now.
Panicked.
She's confused. She hit her head. She doesn't know what she's saying. I need to talk to her. I need to explain. Explain what, sir? A new voice.
Calm.
Professional. What exactly needs to be explained? That my wife had a seizure. That she fell and hurt herself. That these people are trying to keep me from her. Sir, we're going to need you to come with us. There are some questions we need to ask you. I'm not going anywhere until I see Maya. That wasn't a request, sir. The sounds of a scuffle. Damien shouting. You can't do this. I'm a lawyer. I know my rights. You have no grounds to detain me. Then silence. He was gone. Removed from the hallway. Away from me. Dr. Kim unlocked the door. 2 uniformed police officers stood outside. 1 male, 1 female. Behind them, hospital security guards. And someone else. A man in plain clothes. Detective badge clipped to his belt. Mrs. Johnson. The detective said, stepping into the room. I'm Detective James Warren. Domestic Violence Unit. Dr. Kim called us. I understand you have something to tell us. I tried to speak, but my voice was still just painful rasps. Dr. Kim handed me a pad of paper and a pen. Write it down.
Take your time.
Tell us everything. My hand shook as I wrote. But once I started, I couldn't stop. For years of abuse poured out onto those pages. The first slap. The escalation. The daily beatings. The isolation. The financial control. The threats to kill me if I ever told. Tonight's attack. The strangulation. Losing consciousness. Waking up in his car listening to him practice his lie. Detective Warren read every word. His jaw tightened. His expression darkened. When I finished writing, he looked up at me. Mrs. Johnson, this is attempted murder. Strangulation is a felony. Multiple counts of domestic battery. I have more than enough to arrest your husband. Do you want to press charges? I wrote 1 word. Yes. He nodded. Good. We have him in custody downstairs. He's being very cooperative now that he realizes how serious this is. Trying to explain away your injuries. Saying you're mentally unstable. That you hurt yourself for attention. The female officer spoke up.
We hear that line all the time.
It never works. Especially not with evidence like this. She gestured to Dr. Kim's photographs. To Nurse Patricia's records. To the pages of testimony I'd just written. Detective Warren pulled out his phone. Made a call. Yeah, it's Warren. I need a warrant for search and seizure for the Johnson residence. Domestic violence case. Possible additional evidence at the scene. He rattled off our address. The apartment where I'd been tortured for 4 years. He hung up. Looked at me. We're going to search your home. Look for anything that corroborates your statement. Do you know of any evidence that we should look for? I wrote quickly.
His office.
Computer. He keeps files. Photographs. He documented everything. Like trophies. Dr. Kim's face went pale. He photographed what he did to you. I nodded. Wrote more. He has a locked drawer in his desk. I saw pictures once when he left it open.
Pictures of me. Bruised.
Bleeding. He kept them. That sick bastard. The female officer muttered. Detective Warren's expression was grim. That's evidence of premeditation. Of intent. This just went from assault to something much bigger. There was a soft knock on the door. A young woman poked her head in. Dr. Kim. Someone's here asking for Maya Johnson. Says she's her emergency contact. I don't have an emergency contact. I wrote. He made me remove everyone. Nurse Patricia spoke up. When you came to Mercy 6 months ago, the intake form had a name listed. Before you could cross it out. Lisa Brennan. I called her. Told her you were here and needed help. Lisa. My best friend. The friend Damien had forced me to cut off 3 years ago. The friend who'd tried so hard to stay in touch until I'd finally told her to stop calling. To leave me alone.
To forget about me.
She's here.
The young woman said.
She's very upset. Wants to see you. I wrote.
Yes.
Let her in. A moment later, Lisa burst into the room. She saw me and her hands flew to her mouth. Oh my God. Oh my God, Maya. She rushed to my bedside. Took in the bruises. The swelling. The handprint on my neck. Started crying. I knew something was wrong. I knew it. When you cut me off, I knew he was doing something to you. I tried calling. I tried showing up at your apartment. He always had an excuse. Said you were sick or busy or didn't want to see me. I should have tried harder. I should have called the police. I grabbed her hand. Squeezed it. Shook my head. Wrote. Not your fault.
His.
Lisa sat down hard in the chair beside my bed. Still holding my hand. Still crying. Where is he? Where's that monster? In custody. Detective Warren said. Being processed for attempted murder and domestic battery. He won't be getting out on bail anytime soon.
Good.
Lisa's voice was fierce. I hope he rots. Dr. Kim stepped forward. Lisa, is it? Are you able to provide housing for Maya when she's discharged? She can't go back to the apartment she shared with her husband. Of course. Lisa said immediately. She's staying with me. As long as she needs. I squeezed her hand again. Grateful. So grateful, I couldn't put it into words. Detective Warren pulled up a chair. Mrs. Johnson, I need to take your full statement. Everything you can remember. Dates, if possible. Specific incidents. Witnesses, if there were any. This is going to take a while. Are you up for it? I nodded.
Picked up the pen.
Started writing. I told him everything. Every beating. Every threat. Every time Damien had isolated me from someone who cared. Every hospital visit. Every lie I'd been forced to tell. The detective recorded it all. Took photos of my written statement. Added it to his evidence file. While I wrote, Nurse Patricia came back with more news. Hospital security reviewed the footage from the parking lot. Your husband carried you in, but the footage shows you were conscious. Trying to speak. He was covering your mouth with his hand. Preventing you from calling for help. More evidence. More proof of his guilt. Detective Warren's phone rang. He answered. Listened. His expression grew darker. Understood. Document everything. Bag it all. He hung up. Looked at me. We just searched your apartment. Found the locked drawer you mentioned. Mrs. Johnson, there are over 200 photographs in there. All of you. All showing injuries. Some dating back 4 years. He's been documenting his abuse the entire time. My stomach turned. 200 photographs. 4 years of violence captured and saved like some sick collection. There's more. Detective Warren continued. We found a journal. Handwritten. Detailed accounts of every time he hurt you. What he did. Why he did it. How you reacted. It's like he was keeping a log.
Why?
Lisa choked out. Why would he do that? Control. Dr. Kim said quietly. Some abusers document their violence because it gives them a sense of power, proof of their dominance over their victim, the female officer added. It also works against them in court. This isn't just assault anymore. This is premeditated, calculated, long-term torture. With this evidence, he's looking at serious prison time. Detective Warren stood. Mrs. Johnson, I have everything I need for now. We'll be filing charges tomorrow morning. Attempted murder, aggravated domestic battery, multiple counts, unlawful restraint, strangulation. I'll keep you updated on the court proceedings.
What happens to him tonight?
Lisa asked. He stays in county jail.
Detective Warren said.
Bail hearing won't be until Monday. And with charges this serious, I doubt any judge will grant bail. He's a danger to the victim. Flight risk given his resources. He'll stay locked up.
Good.
I wrote. Dr. Kim checked my chart. Maya, you're being admitted. We need to monitor you for at least 48 hours. Head trauma. Possible internal injuries from the beating. Damage to your throat from the strangulation. You need rest and observation. Lisa stood. I'm staying with her. Visiting hours. I don't care about visiting hours. Lisa's voice was firm. She just escaped 4 years of hell. I'm not leaving her alone. Dr. Kim smiled. I'll make an exception.
You can stay.
After everyone left, Lisa pulled the chair close to my bed, held my hand. We sat in silence for a long time. Then she spoke. I'm so sorry, Maya. I'm so sorry I didn't save you sooner. I picked up the pen.
Wrote.
You saved me by staying in my life, by not giving up, by being here now. That's enough.
She cried.
I cried. And for the first time in 4 years, I felt something I'd forgotten existed. That I stayed in the hospital for 4 days. Not the 2 Dr. Kim had originally planned. On the second day, I developed complications from the strangulation. Swelling in my throat that made breathing difficult. They had to intubate me, put me on a ventilator. Dr. Kim said I was lucky to be alive. That strangulation victims often don't show symptoms until hours or days later. That internal injuries can kill you when you think you're getting better. Damien had come closer to murdering me than even I realized. Lisa never left. She slept in the chair beside my bed. Brought me things from my apartment when I was strong enough to ask.
Clothes.
My laptop. Photos of my family I hadn't seen in years because Damien had hidden them away. She coordinated with Detective Warren, with the prosecutor assigned to my case, with the domestic violence advocate the hospital provided. On the third day, my voice started coming back. Raspy and painful, but functional. The first words I spoke were thank you to Dr. Kim, to Nurse Patricia, to Lisa, to everyone who'd saved me. On the fourth day, Detective Warren came back. He sat down with a thick folder. Mrs. Johnson, I wanted to update you personally. Your husband has been charged with attempted murder, aggravated domestic battery, multiple counts spanning 4 years, unlawful restraint, strangulation, and we added something else. Evidence tampering. What do you mean? When we searched his office computer, we found he'd been monitoring you electronically. Cameras hidden in your apartment. Spyware on your phone and laptop. He was watching and recording everything you did. Every conversation. Every movement. That's how he always knew when you tried to reach out to people. How he knew you'd tried to leave that one time. My blood ran cold. He'd been watching me. Always watching. Even when I thought I was alone. The cameras are gone now, Detective Warren said. We seized all the equipment. All the recordings. It's evidence now. And it works in our favor. Some of the footage shows him beating you. Shows the abuse happening in real time. His lawyers can't claim you're lying when we have video proof. When is the trial? His arraignment is tomorrow. He'll plead not guilty. They always do. Trial will probably be in 6 months. But Mrs. Johnson, with the evidence we have, I don't think this is going to trial. His lawyers are already talking about a plea deal. No deals. My voice was firm despite the rasp. I want him to go to trial. I want a jury to hear what he did. I want it all on record. Detective Warren smiled. That's what I was hoping you'd say. The prosecutor feels the same way. We want to make an example of this case. Show other abusers that they can't get away with it. What's he saying? About all this? That you're mentally ill? That you made everything up? That the photos he took were at your request for some kind of art project? That the journal was fiction? A story he was writing? His lawyers are trying every angle, but nothing sticks. The evidence is overwhelming. I felt something shift inside me. For 4 years, I'd been terrified of Damien, of his power over me, his control, his violence. But sitting in that hospital bed, hearing that he was locked in a cell, desperately lying to save himself, I realized something. He had no power anymore. He was just a pathetic man who'd tortured someone weaker to feel strong. And now he was facing the consequences. What about bail? Denied. Judge called him a danger to you and the community. He's staying in county jail until trial. No contact order is in place.
He can't call you.
Can't send letters. I can't have anyone contact you on his behalf. Good. On the 5th day, I was discharged. Lisa drove me to her apartment. A small 1-bedroom in a building with security. She'd given me her bedroom. Said she'd sleep on the couch. I tried to protest, but she wouldn't hear it. The first night in her apartment, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Every shadow looked like him. Lisa found me at 3 a.m. sitting on the floor of the bedroom closet.
Knees pulled to my chest.
Shaking. She didn't ask questions. Just sat down beside me.
Put her arm around me.
Stayed there until the sun came up. The nightmares were worse. I'd dream I was back in the apartment. Back in the kitchen. His hands around my throat. Squeezing. Darkness closing in. I'd wake up screaming. Gasping for air. Lisa would rush in.
Turn on the lights.
Remind me I was safe. That he couldn't hurt me anymore. The domestic violence advocate connected me with a therapist who specialized in trauma. Dr. Sarah Chen. She was patient and kind, and she didn't push me to talk about things I wasn't ready to discuss. We started with basic coping mechanisms. Breathing exercises for the panic attacks. Grounding techniques for the flashbacks. Baby steps toward healing. 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital, I had to go back to the apartment.
To get my things.
Detective Warren offered to escort me. Lisa came too. We arrived with a police presence and a moving truck. Walking through that door was one of the hardest things I'd ever done. Every room held memories of pain. The kitchen where he'd strangled me. The living room where he'd broken my ribs. The bedroom where he'd forced himself on me countless times. I moved quickly. Grabbed only what was mine.
Clothes.
Personal items. My portfolio of design work. Left everything else. In his office, I saw the empty drawer where he'd kept the photographs. The journal was gone too. All evidence now. I felt sick knowing strangers had seen those images. Read those detailed accounts of my torture. But I also felt something else. Vindication. Proof that I wasn't crazy. Wasn't lying. Wasn't exaggerating. We loaded the truck in 40 minutes. I never wanted to see that apartment again. The months leading up to trial were hard. Damien's lawyers tried to intimidate me. Sent official letters asking me to reconsider pressing charges. Suggesting we could settle this privately. That a trial would be traumatic for me. That I should think about my future reputation. I refused every offer. Every attempt to make this go away quietly. I wanted him exposed. Wanted everyone to know what he'd done. The trial started on a cold January morning. I walked into that courthouse with Lisa on one side and Dr. Chen on the other. The gallery was packed.
Media.
Domestic violence advocates. Other survivors who'd come to support me. And my family. My mother, who I hadn't seen in 2 years because Damien had convinced me she didn't love me. My father, who cried when he saw my face in the hospital photos. My younger sister, who'd tried so hard to stay in touch. Damien sat at the defense table in a suit, looking smaller than I remembered. When I walked in, he turned to look at me. I met his eyes. Didn't look away. Didn't flinch. He was the one who looked away first. The prosecutor was a woman named Jennifer Hayes. She'd built her career on domestic violence cases. She laid out the evidence methodically. The hospital records from 7 ER visits. The photographs from Damien's drawer. The journal entries describing each beating. The video footage from the hidden cameras showing him attacking me. My written testimony. Dr. Kim's expert testimony about strangulation and domestic violence patterns. Then she called me to the stand. I walked up there on shaking legs, placed my hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth, sat down and looked at the jury. 12 faces watching me, judging whether I was telling the truth or lying. I told them everything. The charming courtship, the first slap, the escalation, the isolation, the daily beatings, the financial control, the threats, the night he tried to kill me. I spoke for 3 hours, my voice breaking sometimes, but never stopping. Damien's lawyer tried to break me on cross-examination, suggested I was lying for attention, that I'd hurt myself, that the photos were consensual, that I was mentally unstable. I looked at that lawyer and said, if I hurt myself, why would I go to 7 different hospitals? Why would I tell 7 different lies about accidents and falls? Why would I protect him for 4 years if I was making this up?
What would I gain from that?
The lawyer had no answer. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. When they came back, the foreman stood. Read the verdict.
Guilty.
Guilty of attempted murder. Guilty of aggravated domestic battery. Guilty on all counts. Damien's face crumpled. He started crying, begging the judge for mercy, saying he was sorry, that he'd made mistakes, that he loved me. The judge was a woman in her 60s. She looked at him with contempt. Mr. Johnson,
she said,
you systematically tortured your wife for 4 years. You isolated her from everyone who loved her. You documented your abuse like trophies. You strangled her until she lost consciousness. The only reason she's alive is because you got scared about the consequences, not because you loved her. You don't know what love is. She sentenced him to 25 years in prison. No possibility of parole for 20. As they led him away in handcuffs, he looked at me one last time, mouthed the words, I'm sorry. I felt nothing. No anger. No satisfaction. No relief. Just emptiness where he used to live in my mind. Outside the courthouse, I gave a statement to the media. My name is Maya Johnson. For 4 years, my husband beat me every single day. He isolated me,
controlled me,
nearly killed me. I'm standing here today because a nurse noticed a pattern, because a doctor believed me, because I finally found the courage to tell the truth.
I paused,
looked directly at the cameras. If you're being abused, please hear me. It's not your fault. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. And you can escape. Tell a doctor. Tell a friend.
Call the hotline.
Do whatever you have to do to survive. Because you deserve to live without fear. You deserve to be free. Domestic violence kills. Strangulation is the biggest predictor that an abuser will murder their victim. If your partner has ever choked you, your risk of being killed increases by 750%. This is not an exaggeration. This is medical fact. Know the warning signs. Extreme jealousy. Isolation from friends and family. Financial control. Monitoring your phone and location. Blaming you for their violence. Cycles of abuse, then apology, then gifts, then more abuse. Threats to kill you if you leave. These are not signs of love. These are signs of danger. If you're being abused, document everything. Take photos of injuries. Keep a journal hidden somewhere safe. Tell someone you trust. Medical professionals are mandatory reporters. They can help. They must help. Strangulation is now a felony in most states because it's so dangerous. If someone chokes you, seek medical attention immediately, even if you feel fine. Internal injuries can develop hours or days later and kill you.
Get checked.
Get documented. Get help. For medical professionals, watch for patterns. Multiple ER visits. Escalating injuries. Bruises in different stages of healing. Defensive wounds. Inconsistent explanations. Interview patients alone. Ask direct questions about abuse. Your intervention can save a life. You are not alone. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. They have resources, shelters, legal aid, safety planning. You can escape. Thousands of women have escaped. I escaped. You can too. If this story resonated with you, smash that subscribe button right now. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below what country you're watching from and what time it is where you are. Your support helps this message reach more people. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our stories. If you or someone you know is being abused, please reach out for help. The hotline number is in the description. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to be free. Subscribe, and let's build this community of survivors and supporters together. Drop a comment if this story moved you. Subscribe now.